Greetings, fellow crafters. 'Tis I, your Hello Queen. Welcome back to my court. Welcome if you're new. Today I'm going to go ahead and kit up a new project. This is going to be my small project for the next little bit until I get it done. It is a motivational believe in yourself and keep going that I'm going to put in my new workspace for my new work from home job. Stick around and we'll get this kitted out. Okay. So yes, I'm starting a new call center work from home job, and I like to have a large painting and a small painting in my HAID going at least. So I am going to go ahead and get this kitted up here. So I don't have an inventory sheet, so we're going to do this the old-fashioned way. So R is 154. Oh, I didn't grab out a container. Am I missing something? This has 22 colors, so it's one too big to use in my new 21 container storage. So I'm going to use this 21 container. Oh, I goo gunned that, but apparently not enough. Oh well. So this came to me from, hang on a second. Okay. So this came to me from Everyday Edeals. I was not impressed with their customer service when I had an issue, so I don't know that I'm going to be going back to them at any point. Make sure I'm putting that on the right side. Yes, I am. R154. But I still have this in my stash, so this has been in my stash for a year. It's one I've wanted to get around to, but just haven't yet. But I think this hanging over my desk may help me. Now I'm going to label these up and empty them in as I go, because these are all done by weight and therefore may require more than one section. This will hold 28. There's only 22 colors. So equals is 160. And that way, if I have one that needs more than one container, I can go ahead and do that. I actually wasn't sure if this one would have DMC numbers, but it does. They're not on the packaging. They are on the canvas, and that makes things easier. U317. I don't know how legible this is going to be, but we'll see. Borderline. Are you going to be able to get this to close? Very, very full. No, she's closed. Okay, V318. Number 4. Lots of grays in this one. I'm not super pumped about this job, but it's a job that I can do at home that will pay me an actual paycheck. So, bonus. And I can always, if I don't like it, continue working there and look for something else. So, E414. So you're done. I know a lot of people are out of work, including some close friends of mine, so it may seem cruel for me to be complaining about the fact that I have a job, but okay. What is that? That's an O. My filming lights have a bit of a glare on here. Oh, 500. 500 is green. Yeah, I like to have a small one and a large one going so that I am completing projects and can get them out of the way while working on larger projects and getting progress on those. Some people prefer to only have one going at a time. Everybody's different. Nobody's right. Nobody's wrong. It's what works for you. 642? Yes. F642. And there are some people who are serial starters who start all of the projects and get very, very little of them actually done. But if that works for you, who am I to judge? I just poured that into the wrong container. Whoops. Uh, 644. Okay, open bracket. 644. Sort of a creamy color. Diamond painting is a hobby you do for your own enjoyment. However you decide to get it done, it is up to you. A645. that's supposed to be? Oh, it's a closed square bracket for 703. Interesting. Interesting. For some reason I thought I might have shut the mic off. It's like, no, not the mic. It Seven, 6, 2 in there. Okay. And 12 is M, which is 823. Should be a midnight blue. And it is. I like these little indicators that I'm not screwing up. Helps my self-esteem. Okay, so that's in there. So far we haven't had any overlap. So far. $13. $13 is, I think that's a lowercase g. Yes, it is. Lowercase g. 904? Yep, 904. There. Yeah, a little bit smudged. Oh well. There we go. Occurs to me now that I could have used a set of these that I have with dry erase labels on them. Haven't used them in a while, so I forgot they exist. 14. P, which is 961. Oh boy. Have all of ex-wives from 6 running through my brain. It won't leave. I'm that Berlin girl. I'm up next. See, I broke English from the church, 'cause I'm that sexy. Why did I lose my head? Well, my sleeves may be green, but my lipstick's red. valve 3042. Yeah. Welcome to the show, to the history mix. We add the prefix. It's right in my jam, unfortunately, because I am a history nerd and a musical theater nerd, so anything that bridges that gap is right up my alley. This one might need to. 3371. Very dark brown. Okay. No stickers fall on floor. So in this case, I'm just going to open up the next one. And we'll empty it into there. Ideally, I'd like to have them on the same strip, but, you know, sometimes we don't get the ideal. Okay, so 17, again, glare is a percentage sign. And it is 3740, is that correct? Yep, 3740. It's kind of a silly premise. The premise of it is that the 6 wives of Henry VIII have somehow come back and are now creating a girl band, which is kind of funny considering some of them never met each other, since most of them died. But it's an interesting take. It's relatively historical. There's always going to be some liberties taken whenever you're adapting a work into something that's meant to be entertaining. But it's relatively historically accurate. J 3743. Yes, yes. 3743. So there's the first wife, is Catherine of Aragon. She actually came over to England to marry Henry's older brother, which she actually did do. But shortly after the wedding, both she and Arthur, her husband, came down with sweating sickness, which historians still to this day do not know what sweating sickness is, but whatever it was very, very fatal. Very few people survived it. So it was no surprise that Arthur didn't survive it. It was more of a surprise that Catherine did. And she spent the next 7 years being effectively an ambassador and almost a hostage, but not really, as King Henry VII and his now heir, who was like 12 at the time, went back and forth as to whether or not he should marry Catherine of Aragon, because Aragon was one of the major powers in Europe at the time, being one of the few kingdoms that make up what is now Spain. And then when Henry was 18, his father passed away and he was king. So he married Catherine of Aragon because she was a suitable political match and standing right there. And they were married for 24 years. In that time, Catherine was pregnant a number of times with several miscarriages, a couple of stillbirths. She did give birth to the son that Henry wanted, but he did not live very long. Infant death was relatively common. 20 is G3799. And England is still Catholic at this point. The only child that of Henry and Catherine of Aragon that managed to survive past infancy was a daughter named Mary. But it was widely assumed that a woman could not rule. I mean, the whole hormones and uterus is getting in the way, I guess. So Henry desperately wanted, his dynasty was really young. His father had started it. He was only the second king of his dynasty. So he really needed a male heir. And Catherine was going through menopause. So she was not going to be getting pregnant again anytime soon. Ampersand. Oh, great. We'd see how well I can't draw. Looks more like a treble clef, but oh well. 3834. It's not a drawing contest, as long as I know what it's supposed to be. So his wife's going through menopause and can't give him any more children, and so he falls for one of her ladies-in-waiting, Anne Boleyn, and he's been with many of the ladies-in-waiting. He's had children outside of wedlock, including a son, who he did acknowledge, but being as the child was illegitimate, I just goofed. Yeah, that was 22. So 3835. Is it star? Stick it on there. So that is actually 3835. Or color number 22. But Anne Boleyn wasn't interested in being... Anne Boleyn saw what happened to her sister, who became one of King Henry's mistresses, and decided that she wasn't content to be a mistress. So Henry really wanted her, and so tried to get his marriage annulled, citing a passage from Leviticus saying that you shouldn't marry your brother's wife. And Catherine wouldn't have it. And the Pope in Rome went, yeah, you married 24 years and have a child with this woman. There's no way I'm annulling this marriage. So Henry VIII literally broke from the Vatican, broke from Roman Catholicism, and went through a Protestant Reformation. And marrying Anne wasn't the only reason for that, but it was definitely a big one. So before that, he tries to get Catherine to just sign an agreement that their marriage was null and void and everything else, and Catherine's like, no way. There's no way I am saying that my child is illegitimate, that I was in any kind of a difficult relationship, that this was anything but legitimate. You are smoking crack. There's absolutely no way. And that's what her song is in 6. Is her basically telling Henry off. Nope, there's no way. Come on. So Henry creates the Church of England, annuls his marriage to Catherine, which makes Mary effectively illegitimate, and has a 3-year-long marriage with Anne Boleyn. Holy crap, this is not going well. In that 3 years, Anne is almost perpetually pregnant. She has 2 miscarriages. One was definitely a boy, and brought a child to term who did live through her childhood, who was christened Princess Elizabeth, who we know from history as Elizabeth I. But Anne had a very abrasive personality and stood up to Henry in ways that he didn't appreciate. And so charges were effectively created against her that she was committing adultery, which in a king is perfectly fine, but in a queen is treason, as there were no paternity tests back then, so you couldn't determine whether or not the child born to the queen, if she'd had any kind of other relationship, was actually a child of the dynasty. So, yeah, they drummed up a whole bunch of charges and ended up cutting her head off. And that's just the first 2 of his wives. It's interesting. Her song in the play is literally "Don't Lose Your Head." And it goes through how she basically made herself as unpopular as possible. But that is everything we need to do there. I've got washi on here to section this out. I've got all my drills here. So we are all set. So this is now my new little side project to work on. I've still got Deep Sea Beauties, although I am very close to the end on that one. And then I'll be kitting up another large project after that. So thank you so much for sticking with me in this and my historical diatribe. And I will talk to you again soon. Keep it spooky, guys. Bye.